Am I in the wrong for standing up for my child and refusing to support my sister's wedding, even though it means causing a huge family rift? Posted by you/epicfailwhale. I, 32F, Deanna, am the eldest of 5 siblings and have always been the family caretaker. I supported my parents through their illnesses until their passing. My dad passed away from brain cancer 3 years ago, and my mom died earlier this year after a long battle with breast cancer. Losing them was devastating, but I've continued to help my siblings emotionally and financially because I love them deeply. A few years ago, I adopted my cousin's daughter, Decker, 13F. Her father murdered her mother in a drug-fueled rage when Decker was just 5 years old. She witnessed the murder, and it was a chaotic year of court hearings, mourning, and legal battles before I was able to finalize her adoption. Since then, Decker has been in therapy to process her trauma. She is an amazing child, kind, resilient, and full of life. She calls me Mom, and she is the center of my world. My wife, Honey, 40F, and I are so proud of her. Recently, my younger sister, Clara, 30F, announced her engagement and asked me to be her maid of honor. I was thrilled for her and offered to pay for her wedding expenses with Honey's approval. We're financially stable due to my career in tech and the inheritance we received from our parents, so it wasn't a burden for us. Clara seemed excited about the offer, and I was happy to help. However, everything changed during a bachelorette dinner I organized for Clara. While we were chatting with her friends, Clara made an offhand comment about Decker that left me stunned. She called Decker a mistake and said I shouldn't have taken her in. She added that Decker is likely damaged because of what she went through and implied that Honey and I weren't supposed to have children anyway since we're a same-sex couple. She laughed it off as though it were a joke, but I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I didn't confront Clara at the dinner because I was too shocked to process what she had said. Instead, I paid for the meal and left early without explaining why. The next day, Clara came over to my house to yell at me for leaving the dinner early. She accused me of ruining the evening for everyone and demanded an apology. Honey asked Clara to repeat what she had said about Decker at the dinner, but Clara refused and continued referring to Decker as Charlie's child, instead of acknowledging her as my daughter. At that moment, I told Clara that I wouldn't pay for her wedding or be involved in it anymore. While I agreed to continue helping with her rent until she moves in with her fiancé, I made it clear that I couldn't support someone who views my child as a mistake. Clara completely lost control. She threw a drink at me, screamed about how she'd afford the wedding without me, shoved Honey aside while leaving our home, and then blew up our sibling group chat with messages accusing me of being unfair. My siblings are divided on this issue. Some think I'm overreacting by cutting off funds for Clara's wedding, while others agree that what she said about Decker was unacceptable and needed consequences. I feel conflicted because Clara is my sister, and I don't want to see her struggle, but standing up for Decker feels far more important than anything else right now. Am I in the wrong for refusing to pay for Clara's wedding? Update, September 29th, 2024, next day. Yesterday, Honey and I decided to take Decker out to Oktoberfest celebrations to keep things lighthearted after everything that happened with Clara. Decker had a wonderful time. She danced to music, did crafts, enjoyed non-alcoholic drinks in pint glasses like an adult, and seemed genuinely happy throughout the day. On the way home, Honey gently broached the topic of family dynamics by asking Decker if anyone had ever hurt her feelings or made her uncomfortable. At first, Decker hesitated but later opened up privately when we were home. Decker revealed that Clara has repeatedly made cruel comments about her when we weren't around, calling her names like Lost Puppy or The Stray. Clara even told Decker directly that she wasn't real family and that Honey and I would abandon her if we ever had biological children. Hearing this broke my heart. My daughter admitted that she works so hard at school because she feels like she has to prove she's worth loving and keeping. Honey joined me as we reassured Decker that she is deeply loved and cherished beyond words. We told her that no matter what happens or who enters our lives in the future, she will always be our firstborn, the child who made us a family, and nothing will ever change that. Later that night, Decker handed me her phone after receiving more texts from Clara since leaving our home. These messages were even worse than what we already knew. Clara called Decker names like worthless and accused her of being a snitch if she told us about their interactions. The cruelty in these texts was beyond anything I could have imagined. I took screenshots of the texts before blocking Clara on Decker's phone permanently. Then I sent Clara one final text. You come into my home as my sister and treat my child like this? No. Mom and Dad would be ashamed of you. You are not welcome in my home or near my family anymore. If you contact us again or harm us further in any way, I'll take legal action. Clara hasn't responded directly yet, but we've decided to go low contact with her moving forward while prioritizing protecting our daughter. Update 2. October 2nd, 2024. 3 days later. Clara showed up at our house yesterday despite being explicitly told not to come near us again. She was visibly intoxicated or under some kind of influence and begged for forgiveness. She claimed she was drunk when she made those hurtful comments about Decker and promised to apologize if we let her back into our lives. However, when I refused to let her back in without accountability for her actions, Clara became aggressive. She slapped me across the face and called me a traitor for choosing Decker over real family. Honey immediately intervened, pulling me inside while warning Clara to leave within 60 seconds or face police intervention. We called the police anyway due to Clara's escalating behavior and submitted all evidence we had. Security footage from our property cameras showing the incident outside our home along with screenshots of abusive texts sent directly to Decker by Clara. Kevin, Clara's fiancé, reached out afterward asking us not to press charges because he couldn't afford legal fees or bail money for Clara if things escalated further legally. He admitted she has been stealing his medications recently while struggling with addiction issues, but begged us for financial help towards sending her into rehab instead of pursuing legal consequences against her behavior toward us. While part of me hopes Clara gets help someday through professional intervention programs focused on addiction recovery services, my priority remains protecting my family. I told Kevin that we cannot support Clara financially or emotionally right now, and that he needs to get her into a rehab program to address her issues. Update 3, December 7th, 2024. We've gone fully no contact with everyone except one other sibling who supports us. Cutting ties with most of my family has been isolating, but necessary for our safety. Decker is doing well. She's happier now that we focus less on grades and more on praising her kindness and resilience. She shares more openly about friends and crushes now too. It's heartwarming watching her grow into herself. Meanwhile, Honey and I are working through therapy individually and together as this situation has brought up unresolved trauma from my own childhood abuse by an uncle whom my mother forced me to forgive. It's been painful unpacking these memories, but necessary for healing. Clara completed a mental health program after being arrested for assaulting me, but has since tried contacting us through letters, emails, social media accounts, even TikTok videos begging for reconciliation, but we're staying firm on maintaining no contact. Update 4, April 6th, 2025. Kevin has left Clara after an incident where she physically assaulted him during an argument witnessed by neighbors who called the police. He tried dropping charges, but eventually moved out of state instead. We haven't told Decker about these developments. We just explained that Aunt Clara isn't welcome at our home anymore because of her bad behavior. Decker hasn't asked about Clara in a couple of months now. It's still hard for me to deal with the loneliness of cutting ties with most of my family, especially during holidays. But I'm grateful for Honey's supportive family who've welcomed us warmly into their celebrations. Watching Decker talk about college plans and her future is what keeps me going. I want to spend as much time with her as possible before she grows up and moves on to her own adventures. She is safe and happy now, and that makes everything worth it.